Morning. It's the time that was noticed and posted for our special board possible executive session. It's Tuesday, October the 25th, 2022. It's 9:00 a.m. We're in the Board of Supervisors Executive Conference Room, Melody Lane, Bisbee. Any item on this agenda is open for discussion and possible action. And we'll begin with the roll call. District 1.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Crosby's here.
District 2, Supervisor English is present. District 3.
Supervisor Judd is here.
We have a complete board this morning. Thank you. Members of the public may also attend this meeting by Microsoft Teams computer or mobile app, or by phone by calling 602-609-7513 or 888-680-6714. Conference ID 584-338-530#. If you have trouble accessing this meeting remotely, call 520-432-9200 for direction. Pursuant to ARS 38-431.03b, minutes and discussions in executive session shall be kept confidential. And so I'm looking at the county attorney's office sitting here. Are you recommending that we go into executive session for purposes of legal advice?
I am going to give the board a synopsis of settlement discussions that we've had. We've reached a tentative settlement agreement. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just going to present the facts of where we are and ask for authority to settle. So I don't think that it's necessary to go into executive session for that.
Okay. All right. I'll take your advice on whether we need to go into executive session or not. And the one agenda item we have, and I'll look for a motion in order to be able to speak about this. So one of the board members want to make a motion, please?
I'm afraid that I do not have that material in front of me. However, I would second your motion, Madam Chair, if you choose to do so.
Peggy, do you have it in front of you? If not, I will read it.
I had to commandeer the tablet for my grandson, and I didn't get it fast enough. So go ahead and make the motion.
Okay, the agenda item is discussion, direction, and possible action regarding the ongoing litigation and potential settlement regarding Hofford versus Cochise County Board of Supervisors. That's CV-200-00243-TUC-SHR. And I make a motion that we approve the actions of the county attorney wishes to take. So is there a second?
Second.
Okay, now we can have discussion. Thank you.
All right. I think we were sued around 2019 by the Center for Disability Law, and they represent a plaintiff named Kathleen Hofford, who suffers from a disability. She alleges she has former rheumatoid arthritis that makes it very painful for her to get in and out of her car. So what Ms. Hofford wanted to do was vote from the curbside at a voting center on election day. And prior to 2019, I think the last time we did curbside voting was in 2018, right?
2016.
2016. We had changed the policy in the county, you might remember this, Ann and Peggy might, from permitting curbside voting to not permitting it, because all of the 17 voting centers that we have are ADA accessible and compliant, and that's per the Department of Justice's guidelines for voting centers. So given that that was the situation, and some problems with people abusing the curbside voting, they treated it like it was a McDonald's drive-through once they saw that people could vote from the curb. The county did away with that. And so as a result, Ms. Hofford was not able to vote curbside when she wanted to in, I think that was 2019. This litigation has gone on this long, and it's been very contentious and involved a lot of county attorney hours. We had a couple of motion hearings in front of Federal District Court Judge Scott Rash. He was very much on our side, but we could see that this would go on, and it's involved fighting with the Center for Disability Law over every little thing. So we made a decision with the Elections Department to offer to Ms. offered what she had wanted all along, and she could have had if she had asked, but didn't ask. Using the tools that we have, because we don't have print-on-demand ballots at the voting centers, we've made it now possible for disabled persons to ask to have their ballot pre-printed. They have to contact the elections department ahead of time, and then their ballot will be taken to the voting center that they designate, and they can vote then from their car on election day at a voting center. There's no legal requirement under the Americans with Disabilities Act that we do that, but we would have been continuing to litigate this probably through the Court of Appeals at the Ninth Circuit, and then if the Center for Disability Law got a favorable ruling, would have to decide whether the county wanted to spend the money to pursue it to the Supreme Court. We would win there. And that would go on for years and just take up more time, than ever. So we've offered them that in terms of settlement. They agreed, but they had counter terms. They wanted some specific things done. Most of them were no-brainers, like we're going to, change what we present to the public. We're going to change something in the poll worker training. All of that's been done. He just handled it, just took it and ran with it. So that's all been accomplished. The sticking point, and we had a settlement conference in front of Judge McDonald, the magistrate judge in the district court, was money. They felt like, although we were, taking the air out of their sails of their litigation, that they had sort of won. They wanted $68,000, and our office said absolutely not. But we've reached some basic terms subject to the approval of the Board of Supervisors that's giving them the detailed things they wanted, and $5,000, which is like nuisance settlement value. So that's our ask to you today, is to approve the expenditure of $5,000 out of our funds to finish this litigation, have the settlement finalized in order.
Any questions from the board members?
None, thank you, Madam Judge. I'm glad we're handling this in such a good way. And it was good to see that people can sign up now to.
Yeah, and in principle, the elections department and everybody in the county agrees. We want to make voting accessible to as many people as we can, but what the Center for Disability Law was trying to accomplish was create new case law that made it a requirement under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And that's incorrect. And they also wanted, a lot of additional terms that we couldn't do. We don't have the equipment to do. So this is a good settlement strategy and a good litigation tactic to bring all this to a close.
Tom, do you have any questions, comments?
I just think that everybody already has the ability to vote. With maybe very few exceptions that people just cannot vote for some reason. And it's like any other disability, I guess, that sometimes you got to ask for help. And whether that's help to get groceries or help to get help with your vote. I mean, the voting form itself allows you to have somebody fill the whole thing in for you. So I believe that there is currently ample opportunity for everybody to vote.
I couldn't agree with you more, Tom. There's the ability to vote by mail. There's the ability to drop off an early ballot. And there's a special board that can go to your house if you request it to help you vote there. All that has to be done ahead of Election Day, but, well, except for dropping off your ballot. So there are many other methods available. This is adding to that, so hopefully enlarging, the access to people with disability.
Any other comments before I call for the vote?
No further comments.
Ms.
No,
Judge?
ma'am. No, not any.
Well, I just want to say that we felt at the time that we couldn't move those machines back and forth to the curbs without destroying them.
Right.
And we didn't have any criteria as to how disabled you had to be in order to want to drive up and vote. And and I guess we always wanted people to be able to vote. And that's the bottom line. So if this will settle the action, then I certainly think that this is something we should do at this time. Are there any other comments before I call for the vote? Hearing none, I'm going to call for the vote then. All those in favor of approving the action that is before us, and I want to restate that my motion stated that we are taking the action that was proposed by the county attorney. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes aye, and it is so ordered. So next meeting is, of course, today at 10 o'clock in the Board of Supervisors hearing room. And also we'll have a flood control meeting and a regular board meeting. So having said that, I'll see you guys in a little while. Meeting adjourned.